First of all, how was your New Year's?
My New Year's was good. It was chill. I didn't really go crazy this year like I did last year. We're not gonna get into all of what I did last
La-
year, but this one was chill. It
when
was
when we're not recording, we'll talk
when
about
we're not recording, we'll talk about it.
it. Yeah,
But how was your New Year?
yeah, it was good. I just chilled at home with my
Yeah.
brother, so nothing crazy.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was nice. I'm ready for this new year.
Mhm.
I'm not much of a New Year's what's it called? Resolution? Wait, what's it? No, not
Resolu-
wait. New Year's
you don't do New Year's resolutions.
Oh, I was right in resolutions. That word sounded wrong. It's been a long, long morning. But yeah, I'm just gonna be better, you know? I'm not gonna focus on one thing. I'm just gonna be better overall, you know?
Exactly. Just be a better person.
Yeah. Be a better person, be a better podcast host, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly,
work
bro.
on work on
Go
my
hard, bro.
transitions.
Tom, listen, this is your year. You gotta step on these people's necks, bro.
Yeah. 2022 was the year of me. 2023 is the year of us.
Yeah, of us, bro. Of us. That's some cute ass shit right there.
But yeah, we missed last week's recap. Honestly, I did not take notes on episode 11, so we're just gonna recap episode 12. Nerys did go home. Very sad. She was a great addition to the challenge universe, is a great addition. Hope to see her in the future, right?
Right. Great rookie. Phenomenal rookie. Everything you want in a rookie, I think. And I think she punched her ticket for another season. I don't understand why it took as long as it did to cast her, because clearly they were sitting on a gem for the longest time.
Yeah.
So
It
I
took
want
it,
to.
it took Nelson to pick a ride or die to get this woman on the show. So we
Yeah.
got to thank Nelson, honestly.
Shout out Nelly.
Yeah, because production was dropping the ball. Yeah, like you said, like Nerys, I mean, she was relevant on reality TV like years ago. So like when her Are You the One season aired, I think people were expecting her to make the transition.
Yeah.
Maybe people didn't expect her to do good on the challenge, including me. You look at the girl, she's on a dating show, she's skinny, pretty, not gonna know what she's getting herself into on a show like the challenge, but quite the opposite. This girl has endurance. This girl is smart. This girl can politic, but the politicking didn't really work in her favor. She's got to pick more wisely when it comes to the politicking, which we'll maybe get into at some point. Like I said, this is going to be an episode 12 recap, so I didn't take notes on 11, so I don't know what happened there necessarily. But
Yeah. Also, like you mentioned, because she's pretty, you know, apparently that's a reason to throw somebody into elimination nowadays. Tori.
bruh, there's so much to unpack. But yeah, this is Challenge Express. Chew, motherfucker. And it's a
Coming in
new
hot.
year. It's a new year.
It's a new year.
New year, same season, ride or dies. Tom of the Don, coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
Amber, right off the bat, Amber fresh off a pole wrestle win against Nerys. Amber is really building her resume. Competing in a lot of hard-hitting eliminations and winning, coming out the victor. She is 5-1 in eliminations. That's impressive. And she's still in the game. She's still got her ride or die Chauncey. So we'll see what they can do for the remainder of the season. How do you feel about Amber being back in the house? Did you expect her to be such a force?
Man,
On the show?
when we first met her, I honestly no, I didn't think she would be this like elimination badass. I mean, though I like it, like going back to like giving Nerys credit, that elimination was a lot closer than I thought, because when I saw the matchup and I saw what it was gonna be, I thought for sure. I was with my girlfriend when I watched the episode. I told her, I was like, this is about to be a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
For real. And then
Thought so.
it turned out to be way closer than it was. So shout out Nerys, but yeah, no, Amber is a beast.
Yeah, that's a testament within itself. You thinking it's going to be a blowout when Amber and Nerys stand next to each other and it looks like an even battle, but we just know what Amber is capable of because of what she's proven. So she almost gets like a leg up on,
Yeah.
on these situations where it looks even. It's like, oh, Amber's gonna win. But yeah, Amber is a force. Nerys, yeah, put up a fight. That was a good pole wrestle to watch. There's a lot of pole wrestles out there that are really one-sided. I think
one of the better eliminations this season too.
that's also true. Round 1 was so close, and then round 2, I just think Nerys maybe tired herself out a little bit, and Amber proved to be like so fucking flexible. Like her arms were about to break, and she just like, nope, I got spaghetti arms, so it's all good.
Yeah, people brought up like, oh, we been knew how flexible she was from that elimination that she did last season. I forget what it was called, but it was like with Huey and their hands were like,
yeah, they had to like, it's like a chain
like,
reaction. They had to like go through poles with handcuffs on, and
yeah, she was like breaking her shoulders to win that elimination. It's
Bro,
just like,
what a great elimination though. Remember like he
yeah,
was screaming at Corey or they were like screaming at each other.
yeah.
But yeah, moving on. Nelson is ride or die-less. Nerys is gone. So he decides to call his realest ride or die in the world, and that's Corey.
Oh man,
it is kind of weird when we see challengers use their phone call to call other challengers. Still getting used to that a little bit.
Yeah, that's been more of a recent
thing,
right? Because West did that for like Bananas on All Stars 3, and honestly, it was good to see Corey. Yeah. Surprisingly, I was like happy to see him. Mm-hmm. So I thought challengers weren't allowed to talk to people outside of the game about what's going on in the game.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't think about that until right now because they were pretty specific in what they were talking about.
Yeah, like he was telling him that he was working with Fessy and all this other shit, but whatever. Though it was good to see Corey. However, I do believe MTV is fucked up for featuring this scene, knowing Nelson was going home
against Fessy.
Yeah. So,
we just wanted to get Corey's 2 cents, and his 2 cents is that he was surprised that they were working together. And this kind of rolled over into some Twitter beef. I'm not too much on the Twitter scene, but I did see I follow a Instagram account that posted some Twitter beef between Corey and Fessy, because Fessy saw obviously Corey's conversation and was like, don't trust Fessy, you got to get him out of here. So now Corey and Fessy, next time they're on a season together, I think there's going to be some underlying beef, and that's going to be exciting because, Fessy is a beast. He's huge. Corey is, out of all the challenge competitors, similar in size, at least. Maybe. I don't know. I need to see them stand next to each other. It always surprises me how tall Fessy is, honestly. But so that could be an interesting rivalry going into the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Corey.
Yeah.
Too. I feel like Corey, out of every challenger that I started watching during their first season, he's the one that every time I see him, I'm like, damn, I watched you on your Real World season, bro.
Yeah.
And now look at you. You got 2 kids. You oh my God, that's crazy. Yeah. You've grown up so much.
2 kids, no championship yet though. So
no still
looking for that.
Couple finals though. Finals.
Yeah, I've grown to love them as well. They are turning into veterans like the TYB. Maybe not so much Hunter. We haven't seen him, and honestly, he wasn't too polarizing as a character. He was just physical. So Corey and Nelson were the ones that I actually cared about the most. And I don't know, maybe Ride or Dies too. We get some same-sex pairs, Corey and Nelson. Imagine that pair winning, getting their first championship together. That would be like...
Bro, that would be emotional. I start crying.
I know. I'm already getting chills and tearing up a little bit.
About it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, Corey surprised Fessy and Nelson working together. Fessy wants Mariah. to throw the challenge on for the guys on guys day. But it's like, where was that energy when it was girls day, all that noise. And out of all the ride or die pairs, they have proven to be the least ride or die like.
Yeah.
So that's not too surprising when you hear Mariah's like, no, I'm not gonna throw unless unless you agree to like throw for me.
Yeah, it just, you just know, like, you see all these other ride or dies are like, every time they talk about them, it's like, I know we're on separate teams now, but they're still my ride or die, and I'm gonna do everything I can to protect them. You don't get none of that with Fessy and Mariah.
Yeah.
None of that. It's two separate teams.
Yeah, and if they mention it, you could just see the fakeness in like the confessional, and just saying it because of the season name. And yeah, they definitely built they're trying their best to build up this storyline of them like not becoming friends anymore. And we'll get to that at the end, Mariah with a very surprising move. But the daily challenge we'll get to first. It was called Chopper Drop. A lot of controversy behind this. I don't know if you've heard some of the people on Team Fessy talk, but I'll break down the challenge first. Helicopter swoops in, picks up each team. You have to hold on till you drop into a target. Different targets have different points. Then you swim to the finish afterwards. Most points and the fastest swim win. And like I said, it is guys' day. So a lot of pressure, especially for Team Mariah, as they have 3 guys. If they lose another guy, 2 guys versus the other team with 4 guys is like almost an impossible mountain to climb. And that's why it seems as though for when Team Mariah goes, we're getting an overhead shot of everybody falling into the targets. And Jordan and I forget who he drops with, but Jordan seems to miss the target. They didn't give an overhead shot of when Jordan and whoever else it was, I think it was Horacio, dropped into the final target. So some words are being spoken. Bananas has definitely come out and said that he swears by Jordan missing this target. He was like wide left apparently. But due to like the lopsided nature of these teams and Team Fessy winning daily challenge after daily challenge, maybe production let this slide, says that he dropped in the zone, gets the points, and it comes down to a swim. Now, when it comes to the swim, did Team Mariah actually win by 2 seconds? Or was that just for anticipation? I don't know.
Build up.
I don't know. But I do kind of agree with Bananas when he talks about Jordan missing the target. I don't blame production too much because, yes, if Team Fessy wins again, Team Mariah is decimated and it does not make for a good team versus team show.
Right.
So this is part of the show that's like scripted a little bit. Once in a while, it's not scripted, like they knew they were going to do this before, but they were probably in the moment. They had to pivot.
So I have some like interesting, like, just as a viewing experience, right? So first of all, the daily I thought was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was cool. Like the part where you're riding the chopper, I thought that was great. I was
like, play Super Monkey Balls?
No.
It's a GameCube game, and they have like a little mini game where you go off this ramp and you parachute, and then you drop into a target. So that's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, go on.
But I thought the daily was good. Now, however, when Team Mariah was going, and Fessy, and who was with him? Devin, right? It was Devin who dropped with him, or Horacio?
Yeah, I think it was Jordan and Horacio, and then Devin dropped with somebody else. I could be wrong. I don't know. Or it was Jordan and Devin, whatever.
When Jordan dropped, I verbally went, "Oh, it looked like he missed."
Mm-hmm.
Like that. But then they said he hit it.
I know. Yeah.
So I brushed it out of my head. I said, "Oh, he hit it."
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
I watched the rest of the episode. I'm like, okay, that was great. And then I saw that bananas tweet that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that's a little sus.
Yeah.
However, I do believe it's a little, is Bananas the right guy to be pointing this one out?
Yeah, true.
Is
Yeah.
Bananas the right guy to be pointing this one
Yeah.
out?
The boy who cried wolf. It's like,
Yeah, I
leave him now.
don't know. Maybe you should have let someone else on the team point this one out.
Yeah.
You saw the comments to that tweet?
No, I didn't.
They were lighting his ass up over that. Like, oh, you the last motherfucker to talk about something being rigged or set up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's I'm just telling you like how that all transpired from my perspective because
Yeah.
I thought he missed it at first.
Yeah.
When I was.
Yeah, it is also a little sus that Bananas is the one like that is the loudest about this. I haven't seen anybody else speak about it, like the females on the team, the Caseys, the Tories. I haven't seen it, but I'm not on social media a lot, so I don't know. But it is something to look at. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So
Yeah.
who knows? Team Mariah ends up winning. What's it called? Jordan was a beast for helping the swimmers in the back. TJ says that won them the challenge. Who knows? I mean, it's all kind of weird because
can't trust this daily.
Yeah, you can't trust anything.
Can't trust anything right now.
When there's a conspiracy, it's just like you can't fully trust everything.
Yeah, everything is questioned.
Yeah, especially Nelson when he tries to grab the rope and he ends up grabbing it backwards. That's like the most Nelly thing. Just seeing him try to like stay forward was hilarious.
Like it's funny because everybody was like straight and not moving at all, and this man's just.
He's got to like put his legs around Fessy to like stabilize himself.
Yeah, like
Fessy's just like, what the hell's going on back there?
Like, what's happening right now, Nelson?
Yeah, I thought that was gonna like lose it for them. I thought he was gonna be like out of control and not dropping the target, but he still managed to drop in the target.
Yeah.
So yep, Team Mariah wins. That means Team Fessy, their 4 guys are in jeopardy of going home. So we got obviously Nelson and Fessy aligning themselves together for the dagger pull, and by default, that makes Bananas and Chauncey kind of alliance members for this dagger pull. We get to the deliberation. Devin in these, Devin is saving these deliberations because otherwise they're so boring. Like the interrogations and the deliberations are always so boring every season. But Devin, with last episode or last guy's day where he was just like confusing the winning team with his words. Now we got him pulling out a piece of paper that says Operation Save Chauncey. Like, Amber, how do you not see through this? Like, you've been on seasons. Like, oh my God.
Now hang on. I agree with that. But I have the most pettiest gripe with Devin right now.
What?
Because the last episode it was trivia. Now, I'm a New Yorker, born and raised in New York my entire life. This man was asked,
what was he asked?
Who sings the iconic song
Yeah.
with Jay-Z and Alicia Keys?
Yeah. Or no, it was sings Empire State of Mind.
Yeah.
What duo sings that?
Yeah, and he says Jay-Z and Rihanna.
Yeah.
When I tell you, I literally freaked out when he I freaked all the way out. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It was right there. That's the most iconic thing. What the hell are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. I literally haven't been able to stop thinking about that for the last like 2 weeks. I couldn't believe he said Jay-Z and Rihanna. Like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna disappoint you because for some reason, I mean, I'm born and raised Connecticut, an hour away from the Bronx, so I've been to New York plenty of times, so I should have known this as well. But for some reason, I'm like, oh, Jay-Z and Beyonce, just because they're together. I was like, oh yeah, Beyonce and Jay-Z, that was their thing. So I would have got that wrong too, but I would not have said Rihanna. I don't know where Rihanna.
What the fuck is going on, bro?
I deadass forgot Alicia Keys existed. I was
Oh, if I was animated right now, I'd have smoke coming out of my ears and nose right now. Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
yeah,
Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue.
yeah. Continue. Let's just forget about that.
Continue.
Operation Save Chauncey.
Yes.
Yeah, Amber is licking this up. Yes, Devin. Save Chauncey. Yes. But it's so funny because we get a confessional of Devin like, yeah, I'm just gonna gain Amber's trust and take advantage of that in the future. And then the next confessional is Amber like, yes, you got points, Devin. Like,
Yeah.
you're doing the right thing here.
Just a big setup.
Yeah, it's big setup because everyone knows Chauncey is a rookie and he is probably the least talented when it comes to the daily challenges and eventually the final. So obviously you want to keep that guy around. But Amber doesn't care. She's just like, oh, keep my boyfriend here? Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Right.
So the winning team is trying to choose between Nelson and Fessy. They're going to save Chauncey. And in order to save Chauncey even better, you have to have Bananas in the draw with him because they're going to pick each other. So it comes down to the main vote being Nelson or Fessy. And we get a little chat between Devin and Jordan. Jordan says something that I thought was quite wise, and I think is true in the challenge universe. You know, he says the thing about eliminations is if you go in enough, you will lose. And he thinks that Fessy has not been in enough. And I agree. Every time, you know, people are scared to vote him in. And then once he finally gets voted in, he has been getting a little lucky with the elimination types. We know we've seen him in hall brawls. We've seen him in pole wrestles. We've seen him in a lot of strength-oriented eliminations. So yeah, I love seeing people like that in eliminations because it's almost like watching a Laurel compete when she was 9-0. It's like, is she gonna lose? Is she gonna extend her streak? So I thought there was a lot of truth to what Jordan was saying there. And Devin and Jordan want to pin Nelson and Fessy together. How do you feel about that? Because Devin and Nelson came from the same Are You the One season. They've been boys on seasons past, and now that they're on different teams on this season, Devin is just kind of throwing him under the bus a little bit.
That's a great point. I never even thought about it like that. I forgot they were on the same Are You the One season.
Yeah.
But you know, as far as like Fessy and elimination stuff goes, not only is it like he's been lucky with like the elimination type, but also who's he been facing. Like a pole wrestle against Jordan, and like, you know, obviously he has the missing hand, like, you know, and then a hall brawl with Nelson.
Yeah.
When DG was standing up there, you know, there were like, okay, yeah, sure, strength, but there were better options for him to face in there.
Yeah.
More even matchups too. But yeah, with this situation, I questioned Jordan a little bit with wanting to pick Fessy. I know it was probably a smart decision, but we can't just ignore the fact that this guy hooked up with his fiance.
Yeah.
After split.
Yeah, so like that's where things get real messy. I don't know where you fall on this, but I don't know what the fuck Tori was thinking. When approaching Jordan, like there's so many layers like that would make me uncomfortable if I was Jordan. My ex-wife is trying to almost manipulate me into not picking their best guy, which is the guy that you slept with right after the breakup happened. It's like that just makes Jordan want to throw Fessy in more if you're just like going out of your way to your ex-husband and being like, don't throw in like the guy I hooked up with right after we broke up. Like, I don't know. It was just so weird because she was like, it'll affect our real life relationship. It's like, you care this much about Fessy being on your team right now? like, you don't know what's going to happen later in the season. Like, you guys aren't even going to be on a team later in the season. We know that, so it's easy to say. But I don't know. I just thought it put a weird taste in my mouth. Tori going up to Jordan and kind of like threatening him to not throw in Fessy out of all guys. Like, I don't know. How'd you feel about that? I don't even know how to break it down to where it makes sense. There's just so many variables.
Yeah. I honestly think that now having time with the episode being out and thinking about it, honest to God, I don't think Tori thought about it at all. Didn't
Yeah.
think that went out at all. I don't think she saw how that looked at all. I think at the time, she was just trying anything that she could do to save or try to save one of their best guy player.
Yeah.
Right. But the way she did it felt very blackmailish to come up to him and be like, oh, if you do this, our relationship is forever like affected by that. And if I'm Jordan, I'm like, hold on, you're gonna tell me this now before the elimination? And do you even know who you're trying to save right now?
Yeah.
This is the guy who went and fucked after we broke up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to get a little, aggressive with it, but what the fuck?
Yeah, that's how I'd feel if I was Jordan. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening right now? Like,
are you out of your mind coming up to me telling me this shit? Now, look, Jordan already had his mindset that he wanted Fessy. I know that he had that conversation with Fessy saying, look, I'm a man of my word, but fuck all of that, bro. Fuck all that noise.
Yeah.
But you know what? I will say, as a disclaimer, like, that terrorist line was crazy.
That we'll get to that. But yeah, we'll get to that real soon. I just wanted to say that I think this conversation that Tori had with Jordan really solidified Jordan picking Fessy. I actually don't think he would have picked Fessy if it wasn't for this conversation. I think he was looking for an out, looking for a reason to say Fessy, and this conversation, I think, made him spiteful, because I almost agree with him. Like, I would feel kind of spiteful if my ex, who's like, again, with just the whole it being Fessy, that's why it would rub me the wrong way. Like, my ex trying so hard to have me save Fessy, the guy you hooked up with right after we broke up with. Like, why do you care about saving Fessy so much right now, to the point where it will affect their relationship in real life? Like, I don't know. But
and the same guy who beat him in an elimination before. So that's just another reason on top of like 7 different reasons why I should say this guy's name.
Yeah. And then the terrorist line. Okay. So, Jordan, if anybody in this house understands war, it's you. You're in Ukraine, and you're seeing this war firsthand. So for you to throw around the word terrorist to a fellow cast member on a fucking reality TV show is so disrespectful.
To his ex-fiance.
To his ex-fiance. to fucking real life war. Like, this is not war. And you know what war really is. You're out there in Ukraine. You're transporting all these resources and goods. Like, you've probably seen some actual terrorists. To call Tori, your ex-wife, a fellow challenge cast member, a terrorist in this world right now, like, wrong verbiage, wrong
and
words.
Didn't they stole that montage of him in Ukraine doing that shit in the same episode? Yo, listen, I was on Jordan's side all the way up until he said that shit, and my jaw dropped. I said, he just called it that?
Yeah. If anyone understands how big of a deal war and terrorism is, it's Jordan. And for him to just throw around that word so flimsy whimsy, like, it's not a good look, yo.
That was crazy. That was insane.
I can't believe he fucking did that shit.
It was unbelievable. And at that point, like, still, I was kind of like on Jordan's side when Tori was like yelling, but like I kind of did understand why Tori got a little heated because like, oh, I just got called a terrorist
Yeah.
on fucking national TV by my ex fiance. What the fuck?
Yeah, and Tori knew that it wasn't her fault. Well, I mean, actually, she thinks that it wasn't her fault that Fessy was thrown in, but I really, like I said earlier, I think that conversation solidified Fessy going in. Um, Rightfully so, no, but that's what people do in this challenge house. They look for any little excuse,
Any little reason.
do what they want, and
Any
Tori gave him that tiny little excuse. At the end of the day, Tori shouldn't feel responsible for getting Fessy thrown in. It was Jordan's decision ultimately. But yeah, the whole situation,
it was all of it was just messy.
it is, and they're Jordan and Tori are both still in the game, and it's only going to get messier because now we got Fessy back in the house targeting Jordan, and Tori and Fessy are on the same team, and there's just history there, and fuck, man, I wouldn't want to be in that situation in that house if I was any of those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like going into the season, we seen these people get casted, and we're like, oh, it's gonna be messy. But the first half of the season, there wasn't really any drama with Fessy and Tori and Jordan. But this is where it came to head,
This
So
is the first time where it's actually
this is the payoff. This is the payoff of all of them being on the same season together for us viewers.
Yeah, like I always have it in my head whenever I see like right before the season starts and you see like the cast coming out and you see who's there and you're like, oh, these two or these three people are gonna be this shit's gonna blow up. I don't know why I always have it in my head that it's just gonna blow up like right away.
Yeah.
Like
right.
by that from that first episode, it's just gonna set off like, oh shit, you fucked me over, blah 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 blah. This season, this and that. Like I forget there's gotta be like lead up to it.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see it finally pay off.
Yeah. But yeah, so ultimately the voting breaks down to where it's all up to Mariah, and if she says Nelson, then it ties up with Fessy. Mariah being a rookie doesn't like she should have known if she's watched seasons or listened to advice. She should have known that tying up creates a revote. It doesn't automatically right away put their team in jeopardy for tying it up. I don't know if she knew that, but she still used the excuse of trying to save her guys and just threw away her vote to try to save some face with Fessy. But yeah, I don't agree with Mariah's decision of throwing away her vote, essentially voting Fessy in.
Yeah, honestly, my thoughts on this situation is kind of funny because if I was Fessy, I'd be upset.
Yeah.
But seeing as I'm not Fessy and I'm just a viewer,
I liked it.
Yo, Fessy kind of deserves this.
Yeah, us viewers, we love when the fucking dominant person, the strongest person is in elimination, especially when they're not like a fan favorite. Fessy is kind of a villain. He's kind of like playing the middle road, maybe actually probably leaning towards villain. So it's always good to see that type of person in elimination. So yeah, I was excited. And I was excited to see Fessy in elimination, regardless of the daggers. Yeah, all the guys vote for Fessy. Comes down to Mariah. She throws away her vote, so voting in Fessy. Chauncey pulls the safe dagger and saves Bananas. We knew that was gonna happen if Bananas. Actually, I don't know what would have happened if Bananas pulled the safe dagger. Do you have any opinion in where he would save Chauncey or Nelson?
I think he would have saved. I think he would have saved Chauncey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah, I think unless he had no inkling that it would go back to pairs,
Yeah.
Because if it would go back to pairs, I don't understand why he would be trying to get Fessy out. Because
Right.
then what the better option would be to vote in Chauncey.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know.
How does this work when, well, I mean, we've seen it, right? So like three guys are on a team, they lose, one guy gets voted in, so that means two guys are pulling the daggers, so whoever pulls the safe dagger is safe and the other one just goes in. It's weird with not a lot of
Yeah, probably. It's probably whoever pulls the dagger, the other one's just going in. It's probably just like that. When did we? Wasn't it like Invasion where there was like that situation where it was like three guys left on the team, and it wasn't like a dagger, but like the elimination matchup was set up by that daily.
Yeah, that was weird. But the elimination is called spearheaded. We've seen an iteration like this before. Let's rejoin the Zoom.
Good.
Good. So yeah, we've seen this elimination before, an iteration of it at least. And another TYB member was featured in it. It was Corey versus Derek H on Dirty 30. I think it was the first elimination where they just basically had to pull these like spears out of like drywall. It seemed like the Dirty 30 one was much easier than this one though. This seemed more difficult. There's two giant cells. Pierced through the walls are 9 spears. Spears are tangled up in chain, which was different than the Dirty 31. So they had to untangle the chain first to then free the 9 spears by pulling them through this drywall. But it proved to be more difficult than we thought. This drywall was just tougher than I guess than we thought. You need more than just power. You need technique. And I think height played a big advantage in this elimination as well, which wasn't really brought to light at all. But, you know, with the ceiling spears, Fessy was able to like maneuver them while Nelson, all he could do is just pull. And we saw like just pulling through this drywall is not the strategy to go with. But when you don't have enough height on all you can do is pull, that's his only option. So, you know, Fessy being the taller, stronger, bigger guy outpaces Nelson in elimination like this. I think it's expected. And if Fessy comes out with the win, what'd you think about the elimination? Did you favor one person over the other going into it, or?
Yeah, this elimination was I was locked in because this was like kind of there was still a lot of strength involved, but this was like the first elimination Fessy was involved in where it wasn't just like just pure muscle. Like he had to unchain the thing and actually come up with the technique to get through these. Hang on. And this one, it was really different from the one on Dirty 30. Because from what I remember, the Dirty 31 was like the drywall was much easier.
Yeah. It seemed like 3 pulls or something would like get them.
Yeah, yeah, and also I remember because like it was also like for the girls like Brie and Latoya.
It was Brie and was it? No, it was Brie.
It was Latoya, I think. It was like Brie and Latoya.
Brittany. It was Brie and
Brittany probably. Yeah, shout out to Brie. I'm actually friends with Brie.
Yeah.
Love Brie. But I also remember the spears being on fire.
Yeah.
Remember that? That helped. I don't know.
That was the fire phase of the challenge where
everything
had to have fire to make it badass.
Yeah, to make it look better. I swear, like there was that one elimination every season where like, you know, the thing was on fire.
Yeah, it's like Nelson and Corey, you're gonna be playing.
This was a rematch.
Yeah.
From Double Agents, right? Double Agents rematch.
Yep.
And when I saw it, a part of me knew this thing, you know, especially with Nelson. Like Nelson started to gas out a little bit. So, yeah, it was a good elimination, good rematch, I would say.
You're frozen on my screen. Oh, what's the excuse this time, Adonis? Huh? Your mom called you? What? Just be honest. You don't wanna record a podcast with me. Just be honest, Adonis. But yeah, it was a good rematch. And yeah, like you said, the Dirty 31 added fire to it. And then it makes me think of like the final reckoning elimination between Nelson and Corey, where they're just like, you're gonna be playing soccer, but the ball's on fire. It's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, the ball's
Glorified
on
soccer.
fire.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
it was a good rematch. I would say I do want to see Fessy in something that has nothing to do with strength, like
Mhm.
at all. But
Just
whatever,
like a balance elimination
that
or
or endurance.
endurance. Yeah. Yeah, like I think like I remember like Darrell and Kahada had like an endurance one where they had to like basically it was like one long ab workout on the ruins, I think it was, where they just had to like stay above water. And I miss eliminations like that where it's just like who can last the longest.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be cool to see Fessy in something like that, to see his endurance tested.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson losing and going home is always like super sad. It's always, cue the small violin, whenever he goes home. Like he's such
Yeah.
a fan favorite at this point, and such a nice, real and genuine dude, that it's always heartbreaking to see him go, because you know how bad, if anybody wants a challenge championship, it's Nelson.
It's Nelson. Yeah, I never questioned whether or not Nelson really wants this or he's just doing it for the appearance checks and the screen time. I think he genuinely wants to be a champion.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is like also just enough. I feel like we've been just showing Maurice a lot of love because notice how he's out the second Maurice ain't his partner no more.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
I,
maybe
I,
Maurice could have helped him out. It was
I'm
ride
just,
or die list.
just saying. I'm just saying.
I don't know. Or did him and the game that him and Nerys played, it just was like inevitable at this point. Like because they made so many enemies because they were winning so many daily challenges. Like maybe it was just inevitable that Nelson was going to get thrown in. But Nelton, maybe Nerys could have swayed some decisions, with the
Yeah,
love
maybe
connection.
Reese could have been in Jordan's ear, be like, "Yo," because they had the thing. She could have been like, "Yo, don't listen to Tori, bro. She's stupid, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, Nelson's not the move."
Yeah. But Nelson, we hear TJ when TJ says goodbye to him, like he says, like, you're a staple. I don't think we've heard TJ say that to anybody. He was just like, we'll see you again. You're a staple. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing Nelson again. He seems to want to take like a leadership role. We heard him say like he's ready to be a captain when he was having a conversation with Fessy. So we've really, and that's why we love watching this show. That's why we love the recurring cast members. We get to see their evolution. We get to see them develop as a competitor and, as more importantly, a human being. And Nelson has made leaps and bounds in becoming a good person. We know his rough past, his rough childhood, and he's really turned it into something really positive. And I'm grateful he gets to show it to everybody at home, his transition into becoming just a fucking real dude. He's a real dude who has real friends. He values connections. He values heart and winning over money. I feel like he wants to get that win for his mom more than himself. It's I listened to, he had Bananas had Nelson on his podcast after this episode, and that was obviously great to hear Bananas and Nelson, because they haven't had the best past. So it was really good to hear them talk about how they both grown, and it was good to hear Nelson talk about how much this means to him and how much it means to his mom. He's just like, every time I'm on screen, his mom is smiling ear to ear. So it's good to hear about how the challenge can help a relationship like that.
Yeah, Nelly. I love Nelly.
Yeah.
I love Nelson. I always think he's a shoe-in for a cast. He's just always solid. Funny confessional, funny slow moments. He's always got these nicknames, right? And before the eliminate when Chauncey was being before he made his decision, TJ was like two legends
Mm,
right here, which I like to
yeah.
hear because it would have been like any other season would have been just like Bananas the legend and Nelson just Nelly, right? I love how you referred to both of them as legends because Nelson's been at this for a little while now, and if anyone has ever questioned if Nelson's doing this for the right reasons or not, I would like for them to go back to Invasion.
Hmm.
There was this quick little scene with Nelson talking to, I want to say it was Corey and Theo, the Theo who quit on that season. And he was saying, like, man, I wish the champs were here. This was before the champ showed up. He was like, man, I wish the champ showed up because, I want to say that I beat him and I became a champ and all this shit, right? Like, he wants that title so bad, more than anyone that does this show and more than anyone who's not won yet. Like, he wants that more than anybody.
Yeah. And we've seen his growth from that point because yes, he would still love to beat the best, but he knows that, like, first and foremost, he just needs to get a win and get to the final with people he can beat. I think he's finally come to a place in his challenge career where he will make the tough decision in order for him to win.
Right.
And that maybe wouldn't have been the case in his first few seasons. We've seen his values shift just a little bit. It's still for the right reasons, but he's just doing it a smarter way. And yeah, 9 seasons deep. The next season, I think, will be his 10th season. Just because he doesn't have a win in 9 seasons doesn't make me think any less of him. We've seen this happen before with some of the challenge greats. I mean, how many seasons did it take CT to win?
And that's your guy.
And that's
CT, your guy. This whole brand is based off CT shit.
Yeah. Shoot.
Like, for you to say that is a big thing, right? You got people like Cara Maria. She didn't win till her 8th.
Yeah.
You got Sarah who didn't win till her 8th. Like, you got a lot of legends who didn't win their first until after like 7 or 8 seasons.
Yeah. I don't know how long it took Bananas, but yeah, I mean, CT is the one that comes to my mind because he just was
He's the big one, probably.
He's the big one. Yeah, he's the big example for like taking forever to win a challenge season.
To be fair, he got kicked off like 3 of them.
Yeah, so hey, Nelson, there's some similarities. Got kicked off.
Yeah, Nelson has been kicked off.
Yeah, at least once.
At least once, right?
Yeah. But that's just part of it. That's just part of growing, and that just makes that first victory even sweeter when when it just takes a while to get, you appreciate it more. And that's something that I think the challenge forces onto people that I like. Fessy comes on to the show and he's just like expecting to win, and he hasn't gotten that win yet. It's just like you're ready to win when the challenge decides you're ready to win. Like you gotta have the right attitude and you gotta play the game the right way, and things will come into fruition. And honestly, my hard call this season is Fessy's gonna be a champ.
Oh, I don't know.
That's what my gut is telling me, man. Fessy, and my gut's telling me that they're gonna go back into pairs. So I think a Fessy Mariah pair in a final is a tough team to beat, especially now that the other pair that was in the house is now eliminated that would have a chance to beat them endurance wise, Nerese and Nelson.
Yeah. I just they're having a lot of. I imagine if it were to go back to pairs, they would have a lot of trust issues with each other. Yeah. Because they're the only pair out of all the ride or die pairs that have been like playing into the fact that they're not a pair anymore. Mm-hmm. Whereas like it seems like everybody else is still on that mindset. We're like, oh, we're on different teams, but you're still my ride or die. I'm gonna still look out for you. Don't even worry about it, right? But he is just like, nah, Fessy has no inclination that it's going back to France.
I know, right? Yeah, Fessy. That's the thing again with Fessy. Just like, he's still a rookie. Like, you gotta be able to see that it could happen. Like, maybe it won't, like you getting back with your ride or die, but it could happen. So you have to act like it could happen. You can't just cancel out that relationship 100% because of what the status of the game is right now. Like, you played a few seasons, shit changes up.
It's naive thinking to think that way.
Yeah. We do lose our first pair officially, Nels after this team twist. So, and it's like, fuck, TJ, kick Nelson while he's down. Like,
that's what I said. I was like, damn, bro, you gave him this whole speech just to bring him back, just to rehash the speech?
Yeah.
Just with Nerys there? Come on, bro.
And then he's got to look Nerys in the eye and be like, fuck, like, I could have stayed in the game and like, and kept
it. Ran it still?
Oh.
Fuck.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite pairs of this season, Nerys and Nelson. I think they brought so much entertainment. The whole Nelson storyline of the loss streak coming to an end. I think Banana said this, but I think it's very true that there's a lot of ways to win on the challenge, and it's not just coming in first place. I think Nelson had a season that is considered a win for him. A pivotal season, like I said, 9 seasons, and Invasion, like right off the bat, if I think of like 3 seasons that Nelson came out like a better man, or like did more than we thought he was capable of, Invasion of the Champs, coming in 2nd place, almost beating CT. That was a big season for him, and I think his first as well. No, his second.
First final.
Rivals 3 was
his first season, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got Invasion this season, definitely. And I don't know, maybe like a Spies, Lies, and Allies. He went to the final on that one too. So
yeah, that Spies, Lies, and Allies was his first final since Invasion. Can you believe that?
Wow.
That.
Damn, he had a rough spell there for like 7 seasons.
Yeah, a little tough. I think before Spies, Lies,
maybe he would have went to the final on Dirty 30, but he got sent home.
I think it might have been Final Reckoning was like the close, because he wasn't on either War of the World seasons. It was either Final Reckoning or Total Madness where he came really close to win. That's another one, Total Madness. You can use that because remember Total Madness?
Yes,
he did the whole thing for Corey.
Yeah, that's the 3rd season. Yeah, for sure, Total Madness. Yeah. Did you catch the next on preview? Because I did not.
I did.
Do you remember anything?
You're getting your eating challenge next week.
Oh, yes, we are. Yeah, I remember. Okay.
It looks like something with the smoothie.
Ooh, I love smoothie.
Something with the smoothie. So I know you asked for it like 2-3 weeks ago.
Give me some.
So that's coming next week.
Smoothies. Come on.
Yeah, and then the other things where we see a Fessy and Mariah argument. Mm-hmm. I imagine it's based off what happened.
Uh-oh.
And then obviously a Jordan and Tori argument.
Okay.
Based off the thing that happened. So that is everything that I remember from the next on. But when I saw because it started off with TJ being like, you guys are gonna have to drink something very special today. I thought of you immediately. I was
finally.
Like, oh shit.
Yo, honestly, I might have to go back and see how long it's been since we've had an eating daily challenge.
It's Final Reckoning.
Final Reckoning with the Mayo.
It has to be,
with
right?
Tony Mayo time. Yeah.
Yeah. No. That was Vendettas. Final Reckoning was the one with with the bucket. Remember, with the goggles or some shit.
Oh, I remember. One of the funniest scenes was from that for me when Zach they finished and Zach was just he had snot just pouring out of his nose. And he looks at TJ and he says, I have 2 college degrees. And he just looks like a mess. It was one of the funniest.
It looks like, how did you end up here?
Yeah.
2 college degrees.
But yeah, I'm super excited for the next episode then. But I think that wraps it up. I'm sure we'll see Nelson and Nerese on another season. I'm excited to see Fessy back in the house. And now he has these targets that he's after, being Devin and Jordan for throwing him in. So he's not playing Mr. Nice Guy anymore, if he ever was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for the next episode. I hope everyone enjoyed. Please like the video, like the recap, comment. Let us know how you're feeling about the season. Let us know how you feel about Nelly T going home. Poor Nelly T. Scuba Nelly, Spider Nelly.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
But yeah, thanks for joining, everybody. Thank you, Adonis, as always. And we'll see you guys next week. Deuces.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!